If you want to hear about the 100th pattern released by Itch to Stitch Patterns, then please stay tuned. Welcome everybody. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it, and welcome to all my new subscribers. If you have not subscribed, consider subscribing on your way out, and don't forget to thumbs up this video. So I want to come in with a really quick pattern review. This is a new pattern that was dropped actually on May 11th. The day you're seeing this is May 15th. So it has been out a couple days. You might have seen it already posted on social media if you already follow Itch to Stitch over on Instagram and Facebook and other YouTubers and content creators. You may have already seen some versions of this beautiful top, but I am coming in today with a review. So for many of you, for those who actually watch the Sunday reset videos, you know, in one of my Sunday resets, I don't remember what month it was, I had announced that I was contacted by the lovely Kenneth of Itch to Stitch to join her tester team. And so I did accept, because you all know I do enjoy Itch to Stitch patterns. I actually did a sew along for her cardigan, although for me it's not cardigan weather, but for you, if it is, it's the Lisbon cardigan. That's a very early on sew along. Don't judge me, but it is still pretty good. So if you are interested in a cardigan, I did do a complete sew along for the Lisbon cardigan. I'll leave a link up to that up above, and I'll put it in the description box. But anyway, so I had no qualms about joining the Itch to Stitch pattern test team, and how exciting that the first pattern that I have tested for Kenneth is the Lemont top. And so this is going to be a really quick review. One, because this top is so super duper easy. Very easy, super easy. And one of the things is, I'll get into it in a moment, but one of the things is, if you are new to say using bias binding, or kind of trying the bias binding technique and everything, the way Kenneth does it in the instructions, super duper easy to follow, and you get some extra features within the top that that you will definitely like and enjoy, and just a couple little easy techniques that you can add to your skill set. So let me tell you a little bit about the pattern. I have my notes here. Let me just tell you, you can sew this top up in an hour, 2 hours, depending on how fast you sew. If you're a person that like to take breaks with sewing, different stuff like that, it can take you 2 hours, I would say. But between 1 to 2 hours, you will have this top completed. I'll share with you my top as well as the fabric. But another good thing about this pattern is, for us busty women, well, you all know, I'm like, I call it kind of heavy set, full bust thing going on. Y'all know how how I talk. But anyway, so this is an absolute great pattern for that. You know what it's also good for my narrow shoulder ladies. Why do I say that? Because you all know I always talk about me being more narrow in the shoulders than what patterns are normally drafted for. And so because this has a dolman sleeve, it works out beautifully. So if you have broad, I would say if you have broad shoulders or narrow shoulders, it is really good for that because of where the gathers hit. But let me give you some specs on this particular pattern. Let me look at my notes. So like I said, it has the option for regular bust or full bust. I did full bust. I'll go over my size in a moment. It has a wide scoop neckline finished with the bias binding. We'll go over that. Front and back princess seams, which there is a very unique technique in adding the sleeves into the princess seams. Brilliant. They are short sleeve dolman sleeves with gathers at the top and at the hem, and it is designed for lighter weight fabric, which I did use. Now you can use, if you want, because the sleeves have a little bit of a statement feature to them because they're gathered. If you want something just a little bit more, give you a little bit more definition, a little bit more dramatic to the piece, I would say use a heavier type fabric. The cotton lawns, shirting, lightweight cottons like that. I use the cotton poplin from Mood. I'll share with you in a moment. Those are your lighter weights. You could go even lighter, but then you probably won't get as much of a definition in the gathers in the shoulder and in the sleeve hem. So let me just go over the sizing real quick, and I will pop up the size chart here. So she goes up, you remember now Itch to Stitch is including her patterns, the full, she already has the full bust options in there, and her patterns are size inclusive as well. So her sizing starts at a size 0 and she goes up to a size 40 and with a full bust. So I'm just going to read off the full bust measurements. Her I'm not going to read off the regular. I'll pop it up on the screen, but I'll just read off the full bust regular. The full bust for the top. So full bust starting at a size 00 is 34 1/8 inch, and it goes all the way up to a size 40, which is a full bust of 63 inches. And also the waist goes up to a 54 1/4, and the hip up to 62 inches. So for my ladies that are looking to this is a pattern that you will be able to grade between sizing, but the good thing about this, and I'll pop up the line drawing, as you can tell, because you have the princess seams in the front and in the back, that allows for do a muslin if you need to, but it allows for a little bit more of, I think, a little bit more ease of fitting depending on how you are shaped and where you might carry most of your weight up in the upper area. And so for me, because I am narrow at the top, I'm 5'7", that is my height. Now I mention that because this top, depending on your height, it may be too long or too short. For me, it hit perfect only because my torso, my upper body is short, and it's my lower body, like my legs and everything, that's longer on my body. So for me, I didn't have to shorten this at all, and I actually thought I was going lengthen it. I thought I was going to have to shorten it initially, because it calls for a 1-inch hem at the bottom, and I'm thinking, ooh, maybe I might need to shorten this. But once I tried it on and everything, I was like, okay, this is good. Because what I didn't want to happen, I'm glad I didn't shorten it, because what I didn't want to happen is that it just hits and I can't wear it with too many things. At least this way, and you'll see how I styled it, at least this way I can tuck it in and I can wear outside my garment, whatever bottom I have on. So what size did I make? I made a size 14, a straight 14. Even though this has the princess seams in the front and back, as you can tell by the look of the pattern in the pictures, I'll pop up a picture of Kenneth's and hers, is not meant to be figure hugging. So it's still breathable, still nice and beautiful to wear. And so you don't have to worry about anything being contoured to the body with this particular garment. I cut out a size 14, and so for me, my bust is a 44, and my waist is 37, 38, depending on the week. And my hip is a 47. So I actually went with a size 14, and it's just because the finished garment measurements, remember, there's a little bit of ease because this is not figure hugging. There is a little bit of ease in that finished garment measurement, but keep in mind the finished garment measurement, and Kenneth mentions this in her pattern, you won't see a finished garment measurement for the bust because of the feature of the sleeve that is sewn into the princess seams in the front and back. Is one long gigantic piece. As a matter of fact, let me grab it so you can kind of see what I'm saying. Okay, I wanted to grab it. What this is the pattern piece, and so when you fold it down, you know, this is the top of the sleeve. All of this piece goes into the front princess seam and the back princess seam to complete the sides of the top and to give you the sleeve, the dolman sleeve. So yeah, that is a beautiful feature of the fabric. I mean, I'm sorry, of the pattern. And so that's one of the things, like I said, that you just have to take in consideration, because this is not form fitting at all. There are lengthen and shorten lines on the pattern. So if you felt like you did a muslin and you wanted to lengthen it or shorten it, or find you need to do that, that is marked on the pattern. But that's how Kenneth's patterns are anyway. And then for size 14, I did the full bust piece, so it's 45 1/8 is the size, and then the waist is 36 3/8, and the hip 44 1/8. Now I told you what my hip size is. You will see in the pictures, because the finished garment measurements only includes the waist and the hips. So the waist is 45 5/8, and then the hip is 47 3/8. And you'll see the first set of pictures I'm showing you in the video, I believe, shows me after I made it up and tested and took some quick pictures just to submit for testing. And if you're on the newsletter list, you would have seen that picture anyway. So that's how it fits when I'm just wearing it with some jeans real quick. And so, but for the summer, I wouldn't wear it with jeans. I actually have it on with my Mountain View jeans, my Itch to Stitch Mountain View jeans, just for a real quick picture, because I needed to wash. That was the only thing that was kind of clean. But anyway, you will see I also decided to pair it with my Style So Me Gia circle skirt with the belt. And I think it looks so cute. So super cute. So let me just share with you the top. Here is my top. If you all may or may not remember, I hauled this fabric, and it's nice. It's a cotton poplin. It has good movement to it, and it's lightweight. It's not see-through or sheer, but it is very lightweight, a lightweight cotton. And so you can't see with my fabric that I chose. Now if you have a solid, you'll see the princess seams and all of that, but you can't really tell that here. Even though I did use a print, it's not broken up to the extent where it's obvious. You know what I mean? The print, the fabric, like I said, is from Mood, and it is a cotton poplin. I will link to it. I think they still have some of this available. It's called, actually, let me get that. As long as they still have it available, I'll link to it, but it is called a Mood exclusive purple and yellow seaside sanctuary. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell, but there are palm trees. There's a little hut. Can you see that? Palm trees, little house. Let me see. Oh, you see the little monkey up there? Now, this is not, believe it or not, this is not a directional print. So I had to be careful how I laid the pattern pieces down, because it on the it's wide enough fabric where how they printed it, it's like a good chunk of it is going in one direction, and then all of a sudden it switches and go in another direction. So I made sure for the front pieces I laid it where everything, see the lady on the canoe? I don't know if you can see that. Can I? Where's she at? Here she is. The lady on the canoe there. So I had to make sure that I laid this down in a way that everything laid, you know, showed properly. And so it worked out. It actually worked out, even for the back. You can see on the back there, everything is right side up. So it worked for me. I'm shocked. The sleeves, I didn't care because it's such a big piece. I figured when I folded it down, it may just land just right. And guess what? It did. Look at how you can see the house and the water and the trees. Does this side? Oh, and this side too. So it lucked out. I you know, hey, that worked out for me on both sides. So yeah, a cotton poplin. You don't need a lot of fabric for this. Even at the largest size, you make sure you get 60-inch wide fabric. That's one thing I will say. If you're going toward, you all know how I feel about wide width fabric. Yeah, make sure you have a wide width fabric, because especially for the sleeve piece, you're gonna need that width in that fabric. So unless you want to go through piecing together, you know, a shorter length width of fabric, I would say 55 and above would be good. The larger the size that you make, very, very important. I don't want you to get frustrated. So just to make sure that you have enough. And so it took about 1.5 yards because I only had 2 yards. What did I order? Let me see what my notes say. Yeah, I only ordered 2 yards of this fabric, so I used 1.5 yards. A little over 1.5 yards. I have about maybe 1/4 yard left, enough for pockets, enough for lining, enough for if I did a button up or something like that. You know how the collar stand, you can do a contrast. I can do stuff like that. I have enough to do stuff like that. So real quick features. You might have noticed, I don't know if you have, I have a center seam in the back. That's not, the back pattern piece is on the fold, and it's because my fabric, this here was not that wide. I don't remember the width, but it wasn't as wide, and so I had to cut 2 pieces, add an extra 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then sew that 1/2 inch seam allowance extra that I added together to give me my center back piece. And then here is that sleeve piece is all of this, and it goes in beautifully right into that the princess seam. Now, one thing that you also want to keep in mind, if you are following Itch to Stitch for her 100th pattern that has been released, she is doing giveaways in her Facebook group as well as Instagram. So I'll make sure that I link to her Instagram account. I'll link to the pattern down below in the description box. It is an affiliate link, just so you know. And so make sure that you're following so you can participate in her giveaways. But the nice feature is, can you tell that bias binding all around there? Can you see that right here? That is a separate piece. So is the piece for the sleeve hem. And what is so nice is that hopefully you can tell, I know it's kind of hard to see with my fabric, it's a little bit more busy, but there is gathering around the sleeve head here. So this is what I was saying, if you're narrow shoulder or broad shoulder, this is going to hit you right at a good spot. And then you have the statement sleeve. Mine don't look as I don't think as gathered as some of the other ones that I've seen, but it still is gathered in. And so what makes that beautiful is no closures. You get all these lovely features and don't have to worry about a zipper, don't have to worry about elastic or anything like that. Super duper easy. And so yeah, that's all. And like I said, I did the 1 inch hem on the bottom, and this one is serge. You all know if this here, if doing this again, this type of fabric will be perfect for French seaming. I do believe, I would recommend. So that is it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Make sure you take advantage. This pattern is on sale for 20% off through May 18th. And so make sure you check the link down below. I will leave a link to the pattern down below. Again, it's an affiliate link, but you can take advantage and get 20% off, and then you can make your own Lemont top. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. And coming up on Wednesday is another pattern release, but it's a re-release, so stay tuned for that. And thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. You all have a blessed rest of your week, and congratulations, Kenneth, on your 100th pattern release. All right, everybody, bye.